Why do some realistic androids and CGI characters look fascinating, while others just look creepy? You've just stumbled into a strange psychological space known as the Uncanny Valley. First up, let's define the concept. The Uncanny Valley is a hypothesis in the field of robotics and computer animation. It states that as a robot or animation becomes more human-like, our emotional response becomes more positive, until a point where it becomes too human-like, but with small, subtle flaws. At that point, our response plunges into strong revulsion. Next, it's the small imperfections that trigger it. It's not the big things that make an android look robotic that bother us. It's the small things. Unnatural eye movement, skin texture that isn't quite right, or slightly jerky motion. Our brains are hardwired to detect these subtle signs that something is not quite right with what looks like another human. But get this. It may be an evolutionary defense mechanism. One theory is that the Uncanny Valley is a leftover evolutionary trait. It could be a subconscious disease avoidance mechanism, as many illnesses have visible effects on a person's face and movement. Or it could be a way to ensure we are mating with healthy, genetically fit partners. Also, generative AI is learning to cross the valley. Modern generative AIs are getting incredibly good at creating realistic humans. By training on millions of real photos and videos, they are learning the subtle cues of human expression and appearance needed to create characters that look appealing and cross over the other side of the Uncanny Valley. And finally, it doesn't just apply to looks. The Uncanny Valley can also apply to voice. A synthesized voice that is too perfect and lacks the tiny imperfections and emotional tones of a real human voice can also sound eerie and unsettling. Ready to step into the valley for our quiz? What happens to our emotional response in the Uncanny Valley? A. It becomes very positive. B. It drops sharply into revulsion or creepiness. C. It becomes neutral and uninterested. What is thought to trigger the Uncanny Valley response? A. A robot that looks very mechanical. B. A robot that looks almost but not perfectly human. C. A robot that is more intelligent than a human. The Uncanny Valley might be an evolutionary defense against what? A. Predators. B. Disease or unhealthy mates. C. Loud noises. How did you do? It's a fascinating look at the psychology behind our relationship with technology. If this gave you chills, please warm our hearts with a like and subscribe.